What makes news? In today's day and age, rumours, speculative rumours. In the times of clickbaiting, Twitter, and 30-second reels, rumours staving off social media are being fed to the public as news. Like recently, there were some rumours over social media about China. Indian media got overly excited. And based on those rumours, the country's leading media channels made sensationalizing headlines. A news item in Hindustan Times on 25th September read, "Is Xi Jinping missing?" Rumours of a military coup in China explained, while India Today exclaimed, "Unconfirmed reports of massive flight cancellations and empty airspace over Beijing is fueling coup rumours." While Hindi leading Z News on 26th September claimed, amid rumours of military coup in China. And what were the sources of these headlines? Well, the sources of these headlines were posts on the internet by certain popular Twitter accounts that are popular for their updates on China. These popular accounts used their sources as unconfirmed rumours. Now, such words, unconfirmed rumours, are loaded with unsureness, ripe with dubiousness. Yet, for 2 days straight, unconfirmed rumours was the biggest news for new gen Twitterati journalists. When my editor said to do a piece on this, I found it baseless, to be very honest. I mean, why should more news be made out of no news that is pure baseless? Why join the bandwagon of hearsay when not one international media outlet or agency had mentioned such news? But that's the story within itself, explained my editor. And I felt he has a point. He is right. The dire state of our news affairs on the basis of rumours, creating news and headlines that are grabbing and recommended headlines. And before I jump to the sordid state of our media and its affair, that is laughable and miserable at the same time, a little background on what was the China news. So apparently a coup had happened in China and President Xi Jinping had been deposed. But since uncertainty loomed, the informants of social media molded it to speculations have become ripe after Xi Jinping was said to be missing from the public eye following his return from the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting, which was held in Uzbekistan, being the first of Xi Jinping's official foreign visits since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Though Twitter and its audience failed to give it the same traction which it had hoped, and the Indian media, too needing more drama to get the clicks, then posed the question, are international and domestic commercial flights in China being cancelled? It seems fewer passenger flights are going in and out of Beijing, and even trains and buses are getting cancelled. Now, it has been no secret, and the world is aware that with China following a zero COVID policy ever since the pandemic has loomed, China's flight traffic has been very minimal. But why bother with facts and logics when social media is claiming it? Of course, there has to be truth in the news. Of course, Xi Jinping has been arrested. His ministers are, after all, being jailed and sentenced to death. Yup, all of this was filled with a lot of unconfirmed suspicion and hearsay. So why did Indian media played this news for 2 whole straight days? Why was it the recommended news and must-read news on various news websites and television channels? Well, because the times have really changed. News don't make news. Rather, hearsay is the new news. Also, majorly because journalists too have become incurious about the real nature of news, and the new gen journalists of Twitter are totally unclear as to what truly constitutes a news. And before I dwell into it further, there is another example which I want to share about the journalists and their news giving. A little while ago, a journalist of a major Hindi news channel had posted a short video from the film Dawn, where Shah Rukh Khan was saying that he hates the orange clothes he has to wear in jail. Now, this video was accompanied with a text along the lines of, "He always was anti-Hindu." Now, the journalist has a very good following in thousands on his social media. So naturally, the tweet got viral, gained the traction that it had to gain, and became part of the boycott Pathan trend. Now, why did I mention this tweet? Because this is what journalists of today feel journalism is all about. This is their bit of giving and providing news. This constitutes news, for it is all about the propaganda, the toolkit, which is served hot as news. At times, we have seen journalists, many senior included, who in the bid to win the rat race of breaking news on Twitter gets fake news mixed with real news. And fake news therefore gets into the purview of becoming the real news. Fake, real, the distinction is undistinctive, and widespread confusion and disagreement over what's real and true really does not matter anymore. But the bigger question becomes, what constitutes a real news organization in today's time? I would have wanted to go into this further, but this is a whole another topic for another time. But there was once a time when news was defined as what happened yesterday. It was the traditional meaning of news. For newspapers, the radio, magazines, they provided news of yesterday. But as time moved rapidly, so changed the definition of news. Today, news is what happened now. Breaking news is the definition of news. Newspapers, radio, magazines, they have as such become redundant, inessential. And following in the time, they too have become speculative in nature. Many have become phony, and most of the news are formed to sound like Ashok Gehlot has left his residence to meet Sonia Gandhi, or Prime Minister Modi has reached Japan to attend the funeral of former Prime Minister Abe, coming with exclusive photos, breaking the breaking exclusive news, and so on and on and on. This has become news. Just like for 2 days, one of the biggest news for news outlet had been about what rumor has it. Now, I don't want to speculate, but I feel China and its supposed coup became a big news here in order to divert the attention from the real news. In a September 19th story in The Guardian, a leading British daily, which said that the Indian government is being accused of ceding land in Himalayas to the Chinese, citing locals from Ladakh, and I quote one of them. Earlier, our concern was about Chinese incursions only, but now the situation is more worrying as our government is giving up our land happily. If India's approach remains the same, we're going to lose more land. This news was written after India and China had agreed to withdraw troops from some contested areas and create buffer zones. Now, we're living in such times that you would find such report only in international media because our media is too busy to show a supposed coup and XiJinping being under house arrest. If rumors are real news, then ineptness of the journalists is to be blamed along with them being consciously cruel and unreal to the profession and its ethics. Yes, there was a golden time when the press was generally appreciated by the public for what it is. Today, they are being scorned and ridiculed. And at times, I feel rightly so. That's all for today. Thank you for listening. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel for all the latest gossip on politics and my take on world affairs.